Hey guys, it's Dave, and in today's video, I'm going to do an unboxing and first look at my brand new phone, an Alcatel OneTouch 2012G flip phone. I've always wanted to own a flip phone. And as many of you will be aware, I've been smartphone free for 3 years. My previous smartphone, an iPhone, was just simply taking over my life. I could never get away from the internet, and I was sick of having the internet in my pocket all the time, basically. So I was always checking comments from YouTube, and I was always on Twitter and everything else, and just generally Googling everything under the sun and watching YouTube videos on it and playing games. And although I tried for a time to step back and disable the smartphone features and use it kind of as a regular dumb phone, I fell into a kind of a slippery slope type situation, and I couldn't really discipline myself properly. So I decided to downgrade completely in 2013 to this Nokia 113, an absolute piece of garbage, but it did exactly what I wanted it to do, which was be a phone for calling and texting. Now, about a year and something ago, the battery died. Because that's what happens on these old devices. Now, you can just go out and buy a new battery if you want to, but for the price you'll pay, it's a €30 phone. Just basically go out and get a new handset. This is a phone that my brother gave me. It is a Nokia 6700, a significantly superior device. It has a flash and a much higher resolution display, a larger display, and a much more premium handset. In 2009, when this was released, this was a serious device. So I was happy to have it, but when it was given to me, it was already kind of coming to the end of its life. And the battery is again starting to go, and I dropped it recently. You can probably hear the click there. The chassis is broken, and in order to hear people on the phone, I have to squeeze the top of the device together. So not ideal. It needed to be replaced. I tend to take a long time before I replace my technology. So I was down in Argos today, and I looked at the catalog and I saw a Doraphone Phone Easy for €74, which I'd been kind of thinking about. But this Alcatel device was only €53, like I say, and obviously that was a lot cheaper. And I thought to myself, I've had some good experiences recently with the Alcatel OneTouch Idol 3 smartphone, which I still own, although it's not my daily driver. I use it if I go to the occasional tech conference now and again, and I use it to review apps, but I don't use it as a phone, and it spends most of its life in a drawer. But this will be the phone that will be in my pocket going forward. So let's dive in and unbox it. I still think there's a lot of love for flip phones because people think back to the iconic Motorola Razr that helped to popularize them, and that was just such a cool handset. And of course, nowadays, smartphones can't be these kind of flip phones because they're just basically large rectangular touchscreens. So we've kind of lost that to a certain extent. Okay, let's go ahead and flip her open Star Trek style. There we are. Beautiful. All right, it looks fantastic. This is not actually a metallic finish here. This is pure plastic. I can actually feel the button actuators beneath it. What's nice though is that the buttons can be really large. So this is a lovely large keypad area, obviously because you're not trying to squeeze the keypad and the display into one handheld device. Two separate parts, works great, looks great. I'm going to go ahead and attach the battery, and then we will have a power on. Okay, that's the battery connected and the back cover put on, and it still feels really light. Let's go ahead and power her on for the first time. Alcatel splash screen pops up. OneTouch. The second Alcatel device I've ever owned. Okay, so I've just come back from setting up the device, putting in the date and time and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to show you and navigate around the operating system, which is totally proprietary, of course. So it's not like we're using Android here, but there are a lot of apps. Now, I personally wouldn't use any of these because they're so primitive they would be painful to use for things like social media or even web browsing. Now, interestingly enough, I've never had a device obviously with a clamshell before, and there are some phone settings for the clamshell that you can play around with. So, for example, you can do open to answer. So when you open it, it answers. I've set that. You can set it off, of course. You can do close options, whereby closing it will discontinue an application. There's also a noise that you can activate when you open and close it, but I've disabled that as well to save the battery. Also something cool, which I quite like, I had on a previous Samsung phone some time ago is you can do a fake call. So if you're in a sticky situation or on a really bad date, you can turn this on and basically pretend that you've got a call and get the hell out of there. We have lots of other things and apps that you would come to expect from what is effectively a feature phone and not a dumb phone. We have Bluetooth, alarm, calculator, a file manager. We can play videos. You obviously have a radio. You have access to Twitter, Facebook. There is an app store. We can play games. And of course, we have a camera. Admittedly, it's not a very good one, and it's at the back. There is no flash. There's my finger. Not going to be very good images you're going to take with that. And this widget bar is completely customizable, just so you know. Also, can't see it right now, but this keypad is backlit. My main concern is going to be the battery. I've basically set the brightness of the screen down to about half, so it can be a good deal brighter. And the viewing angles are pretty good actually, and they're not bad. The display resolution is 320 by 240, so it's not very high or anything. Again, we're not trying to compete with a smartphone here, but that battery has not been charged yet, so I'm going to see how well this device does and how well it holds up on a day's usage from one single charge. I'd imagine I'm not going to get the same kind of battery life I did from my Nokia 6700, but I'd still say it's going to be miles better than most smartphones, obviously, because this is a pretty simple device. As it stands right now, I actually can't use this as my main handset because this uses a small form SIM and my current phone uses a large one right now because it's quite an old phone. So I'm going to have to get my current SIM updated to the new mini SIM for this. Once that's done, I'll be using this Alcatel OneTouch 2012G as my primary phone and my first ever flip phone, which is really quite cool. Just so you know, there are volume controls right here. There is USB, mini USB port right here, and on the other side is the charging port. So guys, I will of course keep you updated with respect to how I get on with this brand new Alcatel OneTouch 2012G over the next few weeks. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.